Hey, how y'all doing? This is Jelon Miguel Kendrick, former McDonald's All-American, played Division I basketball, and now I'm currently playing overseas basketball. Today I want to talk about what I wish I would have considered when choosing where to go for college. And so, I ended up going to University of Memphis myself, left University of Memphis on a full ride, transferred to University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss. Left Ole Miss, went to Indian Hills Junior College, which was the #1 junior college in America at the time. Once I graduated from junior college, I then went to UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and played for the Running Rebels, and that's where I finished my college career at. So I think I would know just a tad bit about what it is to go to college and some of the things to consider when looking back at what I would have done different when picking a college, because I went to 3 high major Division I schools and 1 high major junior college. So I know just a tad bit about it. So the first thing I would like to tell you guys is be selfish. And what I mean by be selfish is on the AAU circuit, you have friends, you have people that you love, that you care about, that you grow this bond with. And so there's always these talks about, hey man, where you going to school? What you thinking about? What schools are recruiting you? And during those talks, you're always considering where would you go with your friend. Hey man, let's go to Alabama together. Let's go to Memphis together. Let's go here together. And even though that's a good thing that you have this type of bond, you have to be selfish. You have to understand that, hey, this is your life that's at stake here. It's not you guys' life that's at stake here. One reference that I like to use is when Harriet Tubman freed herself, she freed herself first. Once I get to the promised land, I can help people get to the promised land with me. I need to get there first, myself. I need to look and take care of numero uno. Don't pick a school because your uncle. Do not pick a school because your AAU coach. Do not pick a school because your best friend, mama, nothing. Pick a school that is best suited for you and you only. That is something that is very, very key. Very, very key. That's something that I didn't really do. Being a top 5, top 10 recruit in the country, you get to the point where you just kind of get exhausted with it all. Everybody's pulling you one way or the other. You don't know what to consider. You're young. That's why I'm trying to give you guys advice that I wish I would have had. Because I was the first one to do it, and you wake up one day, you just go, man, all right, man. You may even go, if the first coach to call me, that's where I'm going today. Because you feel, well, I felt my skills are good enough that wherever I go, they can translate. I don't need to be selfish. I can go anywhere and help a team and evolve. Little did I know, I was incorrect. So the first thing I would say would be selfish. Number 2 is understand your goals. So in being selfish, you need to understand your goals. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to be 1 and done? Do you want to be 2 and done? Do you think you need to work on your strength? Do you think you need to work on your handles, your shooting mechanics, your shooting percentage? Do you want to go to the NBA? Do you want to go to overseas? Do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer? All these different things that you may want to achieve during your quest, and you're leveraging D1 basketball and your scholarships in order to do that. You need to be selfish and understand what you want at hand. When I went into college, I remember telling my coach, hey coach, man, I want to study, I want to get into finances and things of that sort. And he told me, nah, that's not gonna work. We're gonna put you in recreational classes because that's the easiest classes, and you get to make sure you're at practice and doing what you're supposed to do. That's not what I necessarily wanted to do, but I just said, okay, cool, man, easy the better. I can focus on basketball. As I got older, I wanted to learn more about finances. Those are lessons that I could have learned in college had I went with a coach that understood my goals and accepted me for my goals and what I wanted, even though it might have been a tad bit harder to balance basketball and and a financial degree. I wanted that to be my choice, and then if it got hard, then I could pivot. But when that choice is taken away from you, you feel like you're doing something for someone else. So understand your goals when you're going to college. Some schools develop players better than others. Some schools recruit you to fit into a system. Understand what you want, because you're going into college to get better and enhance your skills. You need to make sure you're looking at the coaches. You need to make sure you're looking at the supporting cast. You need to make sure you're looking at the development of previous players before you. You need to make sure you're talking to the trainer and figuring out what they're going to do with you, or how are they measuring success. Because some schools just go, oh man, success is success. You come here, you work hard, that's it. No, they need to let you know how they're measuring success. Are they measuring it by a point system? Do you have to get a specific number of shots up a day? Do you have to reach a certain weight goal in the weight room? All of these things are metrics that can be looked at, and you can start to measure success. And those are the things that you want if you're going into college to get better. And not just fit into a system. You're trying to develop your game because maybe there's holes in your game that you want to fix. There's other schools that you come into and you fit right into a system. So what I mean by that is you go into like schools like, and don't quote me on this, but schools, to me, most players that go to schools like UNC, maybe a Princeton, places like that, you're fitting into a system. If you're really good at catching the ball on the right side of the block and turning around for a right hand hook, they're going to constantly put you on that right side of the block. You will rarely see these players on the left side of the block because their percentages are very low, shooting over the right shoulder with their left hands. They have very systematic players that fit into this puzzle, and they look great in this puzzle, but then once they get out of this puzzle and they play for a coach that may give them a little more freedom, they don't look as good and as polished, and you're wondering like, why didn't these guys have as good of an NBA career as they did a college career? Is because they fit really well into a system, and everybody doesn't work into that system, and everybody doesn't have this fluidity about their game where they can go into a system and they can also be a little more free, and they can play for multiple coaches and do multiple things. So for me, I would suggest, and do your own research, make sure you pick a school that's best for you, be selfish. For me, going to a school that is developing players can be more beneficial than going to a school that fits into a system for the long run. Not saying that going to a school that fits into a system is bad, because I think there's a lot of benefits that going to a school that fits into a system have. It's just, for me personally, I don't think going to a school that fit into a system was very good. But I also think that if there was a school that allowed freedom in building and also discipline off the court, I think for me that would have been a very good thing. Number 3, that was 1 and 2. Be selfish, understand your goals. Number 3 that I want to talk about is a redshirt year isn't always a bad thing. The things you want to consider if a school is telling you that they want you to redshirt is, how are we grading metrics? How are we grading success? What is my plan during this redshirt year? What do you expect from me during this redshirt year? It's not a vacation. It is a year that can completely change your life and catapult your basketball career into amazing things that you never thought imaginable. Just understand, you're playing against the starting 5 every single day in practice. You're learning the plays every single day in practice. You're on the practice squad, so you get to shoot shots and mimic players from other teams and shoot shots and create opportunities for yourself that you wouldn't normally get on the starting 5. So now you're creating opportunities, you're forcing bad shots if you want to, if that is what the opposing team that you guys are about to play are doing, you're mimicking that player, and you have this freedom. So redshirt year isn't a bad thing if you take advantage of it. If you come to college 180 and after your redshirt year of not going on trips, being focused, laser focused, being disciplined, taking advantage of your time, you look up, you're 195, you've dropped your body fat tremendously, your shooting percentages have gone up, you've understand the game a little better because you're watching film with the guys, you're taking your time to watch film with the coach, you are starting to learn other people's defensive schemes, learning from your teammates' mistakes because you have a different vision of what's going on. It's like watching somebody play the video game or chess or anything of that sort, and you have this bird's eye view where you go, oh, I would have did this or that differently. Why? Because you have a different perspective, and that's what this allows you to do during your redshirt year. Number 4, go where you're wanted. And what I mean by go where you're wanted, go where they're fiending for you. And not everybody has that ability to be wanted and adored, because maybe you aren't a high recruit. But if a coach really wants you and the program really wants you and the teammates are embracing you, go there. We also have to understand that going into college is a lot different than what we thought. It's not always a family atmosphere. These players could be jealous of you because you're coming from a major city. They could be jealous of you because they're from the hometown and you're getting more notoriety than they are. They could be unwelcoming for various of reasons. Or they can be very welcoming. Pay attention to that when you're on your recruiting visits. Are these guys welcoming me? Are they embracing me with open arms? Do I like these guys' personalities and their characters? Does that blend with what I am and who my personality is? Because maybe I'm aggressive and they look at it differently. Maybe I'm passive and they're taking advantage of it. Make sure you hone in and you pay attention to these traits and these things while you're on your visit. What they do after the games, is that meshing with what you want to do? Because maybe you aren't a partier in high school, but maybe in college, maybe you want to, maybe you thirst for partying, or you dreamt about it. So maybe going to a team that has players that love to hang out and go do fun activities together is fun. Are they cliquish? Is it 2 or 3 of them at a time, or are they hanging out as a unit? Do they work hard? Are you around a group of guys that go get up extra shots together? Or do they, just disperse after practice and do their own thing? Pay attention to these things while you're on your visit. It is very important. It's very important. Number 5, make sure there aren't any personality clashes between you and the coaching staff. What I mean by that is your personality has to be fluid with the coaching staff, or they have to be tolerant of what your personality is. One of the two has to work, because if you come in and you're a very aggressive, passionate person, passion and aggression run a very thin line. And if you're playing for a coach that doesn't really understand the passion versus aggression or attitude line, then once you do something wrong, or once you do something that they consider out of pocket, you're immediately perceived as a bad apple, and you have an attitude and you're aggressive. And the whole time is you're just passionate. You just always wanted to win. You always wanted to create opportunities for not only yourself, but for your family. And this basketball is the way you do it. So by you missing a layup and going, to one coach, that's passion. To another coach, it's aggression. It's an attitude. For you telling your teammate, hey man, let's make these sprints, man. Stop walking, man. Let's do it, man. We got a game coming up. Let's take this serious, man. What the heck? One coach look at that as passion. There's another coach that's going, why are you yelling at the players? Why are you so aggressive? What's wrong with you? You have an attitude. I don't like that here. Relax. So you have to make sure that your personality is fluid with the coaching staff. Or they are understanding of how your personality works and how you navigate situations. One of the good things I think that really helped me understand myself was taking the 16 personality test. I take it over and over once a year because I grow, I learn, I evolve every year, and I just am very intrigued about what my personalities are as I continue to grow. So taking I think it's 16personalities.com you can go to take this test. They're not sponsoring me. I don't know who even does the test, but I think it's a very important thing, not only for you, but maybe if you're in a recruiting class and you have some type of pull, maybe even ask your coach, hey coach, would you mind taking this test, man? I just would like to see, if our personalities coincide. Maybe they say yes, maybe they say no, maybe they feel weird about it, but if they take it and you then go and read about maybe their personality traits, and then you send them over your personality traits so they understand what they're getting inside, inward and outward. Because a lot of times as a player, we're battling a lot of life things. We're battling a lot of demons. We're battling a lot of situations back home. life, you're young and you're trying to figure out this thing called life. Everybody around you is expecting you to do great things. You're expecting yourself to do great things. It may not happen as fast as you want it to, but you still have to stay mentally stable, and that's hard when you're young and you're still trying to figure out life and figure out things. And then a coach, he has a lot of things going on. He has a lot of times a wife, kids, outside situations, boosters to keep happy. He's trying to keep his job because that's how he feeds his family. So sacrificing you as a player versus sacrifice his family and putting food on his family's table, who do you think he's going to pick, you or his family? You know what I mean? So you always have to keep that into perspective when you're dealing with coaches. So picking coaches or being very diligent on how you're picking coaches in the beginning, I think can help for a smoother collegiate career. I'm not saying it's gonna make it perfect, but I think these are 5 things that can help with a smoother collegiate career that I wish I would have considered in my career. So I don't want you guys to make some of the mistakes I've made. I want you to learn from the mistakes I made from a guy that was an All-American that went to 4 different colleges, that was top 15 on draft board at one time, and then went on to not get drafted at all. So I want you guys to understand these are some of the things that I think are very important when considering a college and considering your career. Number 1, again, be selfish. 2, understand your goals. 3, red shirt year isn't always a bad thing. 4, go where you're wanted. 5, make sure there aren't any personality clashes with you and the coaches. Those are the 5 things that I wish I would have known when I was during my recruiting process. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Peace.